Hello and welcome to the podcast of the Prison Officers Association, the UK's largest professional union for prison, correctional and secure psychiatric workers with over 33,000 members. In this episode, we look at the importance of reporting not just accidents, but also so-called near misses too, with Assistant General Secretary Mick Pimblett and NEC member Jackie Marshall, and on how new reporting arrangements makes this easier to do than ever before. We will also take a look at how the union's revamped Health and Safety Consultative Committee is working, with Consultative Committee member Paul Telford from HMP Frankland. But first, here's Mick and Jackie on reporting of accidents and near misses. And I started by asking Jackie about the importance of putting these things clearly on the record.
Well, for several reasons. It provides a record of what's happened in case you need time off work or you later need to put a claim in. It helps employers identify where and how risks arise and take action to prevent accidents from happening again. It ensures there's an official record, and it guarantees that the employer receives any medical help they need and may lead to adjustment in their work duties if they need it. So that it may help them to go on to restricted duties if it's frontline staff for a time. And it's important because it's a legal requirement and helps, obviously, with future safety.
And just so we're clear, in case anyone isn't, what's the difference between an accident and a near miss?
So an accident is an accident that actually happens. A near miss may be a prisoner has threatened to assault a member of staff, but had never actually assaulted a member of staff. But then that prisoner then subsequently goes on to assault a different member of staff. We would say that that was foreseeable because the prisoner has threatened to assault a member of staff. Or, for example, you walk past a ladder and the ladder falls over but doesn't injure anybody. That is a near miss.
And that, what you've just said, Mick, of course, reinforces the importance of reporting near misses because it acts as a response to anything the employer says was unforeseeable. If there's a dozen near misses before the actual assault or before the ladder actually falls, then the employer cannot rely on that defence.
100%, yes. And I think it's important that near misses are investigated as well. It's not just all about legal claims. Near misses need to be investigated to prevent the accidents or injuries occurring in the future.
So is the advantage of having an online system that, whereas you might lose a piece of paper, if it's captured online, it's more secure, it can't be overlooked, the employer can't say, oh, we were never told about this?
I think the paper copy is still good because they're normally kept in one area, so the paper copy couldn't go missing. But the benefits of having an online one is the staff can do it from home. So if they do end up going off injured for some reason, they're not relying on other people to record it for them in the accident book. They can actually do it from home online.
And how easy is it to access the online system?
It can be accessed by a QR code, which has been shared with all employees within HMPPS. It can be done by the HMPPS intranet within the establishments. So, yeah, it is quite simple to do. But just to come back with what Jackie said regarding accidents and near misses, I think particularly where near misses are involved, where we sometimes have legal case where staff members have been injured within work, it's usually HMPPS's defence that the accident was unforeseeable. And a lot of times, the reason why the accident has not been foreseeable is because our members are not reporting near misses on the portal or actually on the accident near miss form. If accidents and near misses, particularly near misses, were recorded, that would help our members in being successful in claims for personal injuries or assaults or whatever.
So let's just be clear about this. The way to access the online method of reporting is through the QR code, which is on the HMPS intranet and therefore available in all establishments.
Yeah, and the QR code will also be available from home.
So accident reporting and near miss reporting and the way in which the reports take place is just one part of the remit of the Health and Safety Consultative Committee. Now, Mick, I understand there have been some new developments about the Health and Safety Consultative Committee just lately.
Yeah, so following annual conference this year, there was a new motion regarding the formulation of the Health and Safety Consultative Committee, whereby we've now become more organised. We meet on a regular basis. our Health and Safety Consultative Committee members within the field are now given responsibilities. And basically this all fits into our strategic aims and objectives for the next 5 years, whereby we have a number of aims and objectives regarding political and so on. But one of them things is health and safety and reducing violence within the estate. Now, this work is not just the responsibility of the NEC, it's the responsibility of health and safety officers within establishments, health and safety reps, branch officials, and just basically POA members, that basically it's all our responsibility. And basically what we should be doing is enjoining all of our expertise moving forward so that we can address any health and safety issues within our estate.
And Jackie, from an NEC point of view, that message that everyone is their own safety rep is a very important part of how the union conveys the importance of this subject to members in general.
Yeah, definitely health and safety is everybody's responsibility. I chaired the Consultative Committee, and the members that we have got a couple of vacancies that we're going to advertise for, but the members that we've got are being proactive. A bit of a stalling block for them is struggling to contact health and safety reps in establishments, but I have to say those on the committee are proactive and are reporting back and are trying to do the best they can, and so far they're doing a good job.
And I suppose particularly, Mick, in a set of circumstances where in England and Wales, prison officers don't have the right to take industrial action, their rights under safety legislation are still there, and in fact are even more important because more conventional or mainstream ways of raising issues with the employer simply don't exist at the moment.
Yes, correct. We have the health and safety protocol in place whereby our branch officials can approach governors or managers and inform them of an health and safety issue. And basically, once this is done, the governor must try and address them health and safety issues. But I think it's more than just industrial action. I think there's been a thing recently whereby sanitary products should be installed in all establishments, and Jackie will know much better than me. It's very difficult for NEC members to get out to every establishment and ensure that sanitary products are available within establishments. However, we passed that work down to our Consultative Committee, and they've ensured that sanitary products for females are available throughout their areas, which I think is a positive result of the Health and Safety Consultative Committee and the way it's now working. On a monthly basis, we're giving stakeholder reports, which is every single establishment in the country, where it highlights fire safety, it highlights accident near misses, it highlights the number of assaults, basically all statistics related to every establishment in the country. Now, the NEC do not have the time to actually address them things on a monthly basis because each NEC member has about 15, 16 prisons. What we can do is give it to the Health and Safety Consultative Committee member, who then puts it down to the branches and say, right, okay, what have you done with this? And they will then report back to the NEC. So actually, we are in the early stages of the committee, but I think it is working pretty well. And it's all about communication between the NEC and the branches back to the NEC.
Thanks, Mick. So, Jackie, one of the dividends of working in this way is it is much more inclusive. It encourages more activism as a whole throughout the union by giving a particular set of responsibilities and opportunities for branch level reps to get more involved in the business of the union at a national level.
Yes, definitely. And it gives them somebody else to go to rather than coming straight to the NEC. There's like now an in-between person because these people have got qualifications or are working towards qualifications for health and safety. And it gives them the opportunity to go to them first and see if they can help them. There should be 2 reps in every area. So, you know, it should be easy enough for branch health and safety reps to contact a responsible person on the consultative committee.
And if members are listening to this and thinking, I'd never thought about being a union safety rep before, that might be something I could make a useful contribution over. How do they go about firming that interest up and setting out on the pathway to being a union safety rep?
They need to contact their branch chair and secretary, because to be a POA health and safety rep, you don't have to be on the committee, you're just a member in the establishment. So they need to contact them first, and then they need to source a course and then apply to the NEC for funding for that course.
Just recently now, Jackie mentions the courses, and previously all we've used in the past is the TUC Health and Safety 1 and 2 course. as the POA is a member of the General Federation of Trade Unions, the GFTU now are providing courses for Health and Safety 1 and Health and Safety 2, amongst other courses. And a lot of our members, I think approximately 30 to 40 over the last 6 months, have attended the GFTU Health and Safety course, which can only be good for our membership.
Absolutely. And the GFTU are known throughout the movement as being really top draw providers of trade union education. I suppose when we think about the prison estate, sometimes we forget just how old and decrepit many of the jails are. And is it fair to say, Mick, Jackie, that just because you put up with something every day doesn't mean to say it ceases to be a health and safety hazard or a near miss?
It's right. Going back to the stakeholder reports that we receive, there's one establishment with, I think it was 249 fire defects, which basically people are walking past every single day. And as a result of us receiving them reports, them fire defects are now being addressed. These things should be addressed at establishment level. And you're right, just because things have happened every single day doesn't mean that they should happen tomorrow. So we would urge all staff to be aware of the health and safety surroundings and report it. If it's not reported, people don't know.
Rose, Jackie, it's a case that today's near miss could be tomorrow's accident with potentially tragic consequences.
Oh, definitely. And near misses cover a whole range of things, even dealing with a prisoner who's under the influence of drugs. Anything like that should go as a near miss, because we don't know what that can lead to after.
As we've just heard, the involvement of branch-based safety reps is a vital component of the Health and Safety Consultative Committee. I spoke to Paul Telford about what the role involves and what's the difference it makes.
So my role on the Health and Safety Consultative Committee is mainly to collate issues raised by high security prisons and firstly see if I can offer the solution just based on things I've already dealt with, and if not, highlight those issues direct to the consultative committee. Hopefully somebody there can give the answer straight away, as they might have dealt with it before. If not, last resort is obviously for the NEC to be aware of the issue and advise how to take it forward if we're not sure how to take it forward, or if the branch isn't sure how to take it forward. A lot of the time we do manage to, if a branch does raise something, do manage to usually give an answer to how it could be sorted out, and have on a few occasions. Unfortunately, we have had to raise things at the consultative committee meetings, though, for branches on behalf of branches for the NEC to get into. But in a nutshell, that's the Health and Safety Consultative Committee reps role.
And what do you think is the advantage of having committee members who are not on the NEC or national officers involved in this way?
Well, I think the main advantage of having people on the Health and Safety Consultative Committee who aren't national officials is that national officials just simply haven't got the time to. They're already very busy. I'm acutely aware of how busy they are. They haven't got the time to deal with every health and safety issue that the consultative committee is dealing with, additionally what they've already got. It's sort of a more all hands on deck situation. They can't deal with everything that comes through in health and safety world, and the consultative committee can sort of mop up everything in between the things health and safety related that they would usually deal with on the ground floor. The national officials help out massively with some things that we just simply haven't got the power or the connections to change, but the consultative committee itself does have that different buffer level between their already massively busy schedules and the ground floor.
So is it fair to say there's been a noticeable change in the health and safety culture of the union since the current way of working was introduced?
There definitely does seem to be new lease of life put into health and safety. I don't remember health and safety when I first joined the prison service being as big as it is now, and there's obviously still a bit of a stigma attached to our health and safety is boring and everything's fine until something's not fine, and that's what I think people are starting to realise, that there has been some high-profile incidents and accidents and things like that that I think have made people realise that actually it can be quite dangerous in these workplaces, and not even prisoner-related dangers, just the general danger that can be from a big building, sometimes old buildings, dilapidated buildings. Some of our prisons are really old. People are realising that actually health and safety is pretty important. And as a health and safety rep at HMP Frankland, and not just the Consultative Committee, there has been an increased reporting to myself of incidents and issues, which obviously I've taken on and we've had some great successes with.
And Paul, what do you think has been the most important so far intervention that you personally have been able to make as a union safety rep?
And I would say that the most important intervention I've had so far, there's a few that I'm quite proud of that I've got involved and I've sorted those issues out, and people have benefited, union members have benefited from my involvement. But the female sanitary product rollout across all establishments was a particular one, because it seemed like the HMPPS had put all of the groundwork in to tick a box to say, yes, we're providing these products now for everyone, everywhere. But they never really massively pushed the rollout of it, and establishments didn't embrace it almost at all. From what I've seen, there was pretty much no establishments really doing it. And as it turned out, it only took a few emails, a few phone calls, and a few conversations with the right people, and we got it rolled out in almost everywhere. And I'd just like to say, if there was anyone listening to this today that hasn't had it rolled out in their establishment, to contact me direct. It is an easy fix. The team from HMPPS, who were massively helpful, who were running it, had no idea that it hadn't been rolled out. The establishments had confirmed to them that this program was rolled out right across all estates, and it just simply wasn't. But if anyone is listening who hasn't had this rolled out in their establishment, please just get in touch direct, and I can help you get that sorted within a matter of about a week or less, I would hope.
Now, if listeners are thinking about getting involved in the union's health and safety work but are worried that it might be too technical, what advice can you give them?
So the only other thing I would like to say is, for anyone who is listening to this, get involved with your health and safety rep. If your find out who your health and safety rep is, and just keep them informed, because it's really hard as a rep, a consultative committee rep, or whatever. It's really hard to know exactly what's going on everywhere all the time. Like, our establishments are huge and they've got so many different potential dangers. The reps just simply can't be everywhere at once. They can't know everything that's happening. Something might happen to you and you think, well, they're bound to know about that. They might not. Just give them a ring, give them an email, let them know. The most valuable thing I've had so far as a health and safety rep is members emailing us or giving us a call and telling us about something that isn't right or something that they think's not right, and then getting it sorted out for them. A good example is recently HMP Frankland had quite a big asbestos exposure incident where a wall had been dug out in an incident. Some staff had went in to restrain a prisoner, and it turned out that the cell did have a fair bit of asbestos in it because of this hole that had been dug out of a wall. One member of staff got in touch and said, is there asbestos in there? I didn't even know the incident had occurred. That then flagged out to me that it's worth a check. I checked, yes, there was. It turned out that there was quite a bit. Then the ball started rolling. The health and safety department did sort of get involved, not heavily, but they did. HSC ended up getting involved, and it turned out HMP Frankland did have some quite significant failings around asbestos action plans and dealing with exposure incidents and things like that. And they've all been rectified now, so that won't happen again. The risk that was posed to those staff shouldn't happen again, because there's been quite a few things put in place, processes put in place to avoid it in the future. And that was all on the back of a member sending an email and then quickly popping up the PO office to tell us what had happened and what their concerns were, and that started everything rolling. And potentially, not to sound too dramatic, that could potentially save someone's life in the future. Luckily, all those staff are fine, and it was deemed quite low risk in the end after all the investigations were done. But in the future, somebody's life could be saved just because that person flagged it up. If they hadn't of, I would have likely found out the incident happened, but I would never have linked that incident with what about asbestos. But because they'd made that link and they passed it on to me, things happened, and they were positive things for POA members.
My thanks to Mick, Jackie and Paul. And you can find out more about this vital area of the union's work at poauk.org.uk, where you can also find information on how to join the union if you are not already a member. Thank you for listening. We hope that you have enjoyed what you have heard and will join us for the next episode of the POA podcast. Thank you and goodbye.